I don't usually make do videos like this. Again, like this is the camera I'm using is not very low res. I'm recording my screen. You know, that's not usually the type of stuff I make, but I found something really interesting in terms of the manifestation space, and I don't see anybody really talking about it because everybody's so anti AI. Ooh, AI, but everybody's like so against using it. So I wanted to like me personally. I'm not someone who's against using it. I think it's a great tool. I just think again, my brother even talked about it. It's another tool in the toolbox. It's not going to replace jobs. It's just going to make people who know how to do their jobs easier and everything like that. It's just that people like tend to over exaggerate what it really is, and like it's complicated. It's lines of code pretty much. So if you don't understand what's going on there, I'm not even a coder myself. So, but like if you don't know what's going on there, then I can see how it can be scary. But I want to actually show you guys how you can actually use it to help you start manifesting, right? Because I have been using ChatGPT at least this morning. They kind of manifest my dream reality and sort of like visualize where I want to be, and I sort of want to show you guys how I've been doing that. So let's get started here. I'm gonna switch to my desktop capture setup soon. So yeah, obviously we live in a capitalistic society, and people tend to gravitate towards the videos that tell them how to manifest money, how to manifest women, how to manifest relationships. Particularly for the female side, they show you how to manifest your SP, things of that nature. But me personally, that's not the direction I'm going in. But which is actually better because like I know like I don't look like the wealthiest person. So that in terms of that, like I understand that I'm probably not the best person to talk about that now, and I don't want you guys give coming to me for wealth manifestation advice in particular. But again, me and Young Dawn are sort of in the same boat where we just want to manifest like a peaceful, calm life where nobody's bothering us too much. We kind of have a lot of autonomy in terms of our. For me, I'm one of the things I'm trying to manifest right now is emotional autonomy. If you guys know about my background, I've been dealing with like a lot of bad thoughts, to say the least. So I wanted to kind of manifest a reality where that's not the case, and I don't have to worry about what I'm thinking or how I'm feeling every day, and I sort of have that sort of consistency without having to manually like, okay, go journal, go freaking, I don't know. Like I don't want to have to use those things to just make me feel somewhat emotionally stable, right? So I kind of want to manifest a reality where my emotions and everything are autonomous, and I can sort of just like not have to worry, constantly check in with myself to make sure I'm not going crazy. So this morning I kind of wanted a, let's find it here. I just randomly asked ChatGPT this morning, like, "Hey, can you actually help me manifest?" I think I was watching a video, funny enough, by an AI. Obviously, it's AI. I don't know if they're trying to hide it, but they used AI to create like a manifestation video, and it really clicked with me, despite it obviously being AI. Like, I'm sure he just put like, "Hey, make a video like Neville Goddard or something like that," in order to get, and then they just spit that video out. But it really resonated with me, and I figured, I don't know, for some reason I just found myself going on chat because I've been using it a lot recently for not only like my coding stuff. I want to ask a lot of philosophical questions, things about like my life in particular and how I can improve it, without having to like. My whole thing is like not using willpower. I don't. I want things to feel natural. My good habits to feel natural without me having to force them. And what I asked it this morning was, I asked it, "Can you help me visualize my desired reality and make me feel like and make me feel like these manifestation gurus say?" I know you don't have feelings, but using the emotional profile of what makes me feel things based off our previous chats. Now, this is actually really great because if you are someone who uses ChatGPT, something in a particular tool like this consistently, it already has like an emotional based profile of your needs, right? They understands what you want. It understands what you crave. It understands what you're even trying to manifest. For instance, if you've been asking, again, I'm not the wealth guy, but I imagine if you were to go to ChatGPT and ask for a bunch of wealth related questions, how do I make six figures here? How do I start an online business here? Things like that. If you are in that sort of entrepreneur space, right? If you already have those questions in ChatGPT and you got answers you really liked, you can just ChatGPT will just go back to those records and just reference those in your manifestation list automatically. So you don't have to lift a finger. And obviously, like, there are themes of that in this, right? Like he said, yes, and I can actually do this in a way that fits how you feel things. I was just trying to slow record. Yes, and I can actually do this in a way that makes fits how you feel things, not in a generic manifestation script kind of way. Based on how you've shown up in past chats, here's what reliably lands for you. And it gave me a list of things. And personally, I'll read it out for you guys so you can understand kind of how I was talking to my chat GPT and how it sort of depicted what kind of I want for my desired reality. And that's you respond to quiet control, not hype. You feel safe when things are structured but not rigid. You're motivated when you sense inevitability, not pressure. This one's interesting. I did had no idea I'm like that, but you engage most when something feels designed, not willed. You calm down when the world feels like it has rules that finally make sense. This one in particular, this last one, like hit me so home because it's like it understood how I was feeling, like almost verbatim, right? Like ChatGPT, I know ChatGPT is probably not the best person to go to for emotional counseling. They give you very generic advice sometimes, and it definitely is more applicable that if you are having like serious mental issues, you go see an actual professional like a therapist, which is what I'm personally doing, because they understand human psychology a lot more, and it's more practiced, right? ChatGPT only sees human psychology from a distance and doesn't directly get involved with patients, which is a completely different ballgame. But anyways, although if you really can't get a mental health professional and you need ChatGPT, it can still definitely it can help you out still a ton. I know I used it a lot before I started going to therapy, but it's telling me that it's going to make a guided visualization. Oh my god, it's going to build a guided visualization built for me, and it doesn't force imagery. Just read and let your brain do what it naturally does. You're in a space that feels finished, not flashy, not sterile. Finished in a way a well-designed interface is finished, because I've been talking about interface design recently, or like sort of like UI UX design. And it knows that I'm not trying to manifest a crazy out there life, although I'm not against it. I just don't think that's my priority in manifestation right now. But I kind of just want a good emotional baseline, so I don't feel like I'm constantly going haywire or feel like I'm gonna like go off the rails one day and snap at somebody. Um, and it says that you're in a space that feels finished, not flashy, not sterile, finished in a way that, oh wait, we already said this. Nothing is asking for your attention, but everything is responsive. You notice first that your body isn't bracing. No background tension, no what am I forgetting loop. You're not rushing. You're seated, maybe at a desk, maybe a couch, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you know what you're working on and it feels contained. There's a project open in front of you, something you built or are currently building. It isn't perfect, but it's coherent. And here's the most important part. You're not wondering if it'll work. You already know how it works. You know what the next step is, why you're doing it, what happens after, and there are no fog between steps anymore. Because as an ADHD individual, just saying, hey, just deal with uncertainty is not enough for you, because your entire like brain program is designed to avoid uncertainty as much as possible. So you saying things like just live in the moment or deal with uncertainty, these like spiritual, like blank spiritual sentences you hear a lot in the community. Like they'll say things like that, but obviously like they don't tailor it to brains who don't think that way, who aren't thinking that yes they want to release, but their brain is designed to constantly be on, constantly keep moving, and anything that says just be in the moment or be in the moment or have to like deal with uncertainty feels like a lot of emotional suppression, and it's not actually helpful. So um, having that certainty there, ChatGPT knows is that I'll have that certainty of knowing that there's something more to do, just not have it be a crushing pressure that I've been dealing with lately. Um, Someone interacts with what you made, not in an overwhelming way, just naturally. See, I don't even want like crazy fame or nothing. I don't want to be the next PewDiePie. I kind of just want like people to resonate with my stuff and respond to it, and just like go on with their lives. Like I don't want like a whole stan fan base or like a cult like fan base, if that makes sense. Um, a message, a number ticking up slowly, a quiet confirmation that yes, this world, yes, this exists in the world now. You don't spike with excitement. Instead, you just feel settled. Like right, right. This is the lane. Because I honestly think that my brain does tailor to more dark and very gritty, like emotions, like without my consent, typically because it really needs the dopamine sometimes. I feel like it's just another outlet for the dopamine. So having a project where I know what I'm going to do, I know I'm going to be occupied, can help. Obviously, I am not the type of person that uses work to solve emotional problems, but I do think that it wouldn't it wouldn't hurt it too much. I would still think that it could help in a sense. Again, without me completely diving into that's the only way to solve my problems. Um, right, this is the lane. You realize something subtle. Your nervous system isn't trying to escape. It isn't bargaining. It isn't fantasizing about being someone else. It's just occupied, doing the thing it's good at. Again, it does definitely tailor into the product. I do sound like a productivity junkie to this AI. So it's not 100%. It's definitely something you have to tweak and refine. But for a first prompt without a lot of real editing, I'd say this is a pretty good basis. Money isn't dramatic here. It's boring in a good way. It arrives as permission, not salvation. It removes friction. It stops certain conversations from happening at all. You're not rich in the look at me sense. You're resource enough that your ideas don't die halfway through. That's the relief. You have no idea how accurate that is. Like, I'll have so many ideas, and the only barrier to entry is that I don't understand how to even get the resources to keep this thing going because a lot of my ideas are physical businesses, and it definitely always seems to like fall through because I never have either the patience to keep going or the willpower to kind of keep. Or again, this is back into willpower. The willpower to keep going or do anything of that sort. So that's the relief. Time just passes, not in a blur, not in a grind, in chunks that make sense. You still have days where you don't want to do much, but they're loud. They don't threaten the whole structure. Nothing collapses if you rest. So important. Because I still, to this day, have complete control over the projects I'm working on, but yet still feel guilty for resting because I'm now shifted to the good side of it where I'm afraid that if I don't work on my ideas right away, then I'm going to lose them, right? And they're all really good ideas. They're all ideas that I really want to execute on, right? It doesn't feel again, it doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel like I'm being put in a box with these kind of ideas. Yeah, I felt like that when I was working, right? When I was for instance, at the excavation place, I always had this thought lingering behind me is like, am I going to get fired? Am I getting fired? And I get fired, and then I eventually get fired. But luckily, it's a mutual understanding. We both understand how things are. It's not we're not there's no animosity essentially, and he doesn't. He's like he just said like, hey, I hired you at a wrong time. Did that help? No, because that was the most stable I felt my entire life now, so it just ripped out for me. But it's not his fault. I'm not. This isn't a video blaming him. He's a good guy. He just kind of overshot what he like the expectations were overshot and like he didn't understand or he didn't he didn't prepare for what actually happened. So, anyways, and the strongest feeling, the one that actually matters to you, you are no longer trying to prove you're real. The work does that silently. Your systems hold you. You don't feel fixed. You feel placed. Oh my God, that is such like a good thing to hear, kind of. I can't really articulate how that makes me feel right now. So I'm just gonna move on to the next one. Anchor this without, and then it gives me a little affirmation exercise. Again, affirmations as anchors, not as like ways of life or the only way to feel the emotion. Because it's a lot more consistent and a lot more understandable to tell people in the manifestation space to instantly go for affirmations. That's how I did it. I definitely do think that affirmations have their place, and that when you're starting in the manifestation space, it's a lot more digestible to hear, hey, you're going to feel these things eventually. You just got to write them down enough times, and it gives them a little bit of a structure there, which I really think is a good thing. But like later on in the manifestation space, you realize that that's just a lot of unnecessary work, and it's not. Again, it's just busy work. It's not actually achieving the thing you want to achieve, and it just sort of helps you, I guess, distract you in a sense to where it's like you'll eventually feel those emotions, right? But you're not feeling them right away, and if you write it down enough times, you'll eventually catch yourself in a moment where you do feel it, and now that you have all this like build up, then it kind of like helps. But me personally, I don't like the whole. It feels like a lot of labor. It feels like a work to do affirmations, so I don't really do it. But this didn't feel like work at all to me. This feels like a more cognitive reframing, which was, what would the designed version of this look like? So don't repeat affirmation. It even says don't repeat affirmation. Instead, notice this question over the next few days. What would the designed version of this reality look like? Not the perfect one, the inevitable. Wait, what? What would the designed version of this look like with everything it said before? Not the perfect way of looking at it, the inevitable way of looking at it. That's how your brain moves towards reality shifts, through design clarity, not emotional intensity. I do think it's definitely trying to like appeal to me in a sense that like I like structure, I like order, I like the fact that there is no uncertainty at all, and I can kind of just like live, but live without worrying about uncertainty. But I do think that it's trying to appeal to me in that way, in a sense that I can't tolerate uncertainty very well. And I watch a lot of Dr. K videos, and that's like the main thing he says, despite him, which is strange because I know he's a monk and everything, and that's like the main practice. So it'd sort of be offensive if he didn't teach that, or like he would get like offended if anybody else had a different world. Okay, that sounds fucking hateful. I'm not gonna go that direction. I'm sorry if Dr. K is watching this. That's my bad, bro. Like you make great content. And you're really helping me out, particularly. But I just think our worldviews are different. That's all. Um, and it asked if you want, we can turn this. I didn't read this. I'm not gonna lie to you. So what I asked it to do though is, because it'd be easier for me to visualize, because I do have an image in my head of what this looks like, right? Like me just waking up out of bed, no one bothering me. I'm able to go downstairs, have a sandwich, and nobody's like blowing up my phone, or nobody's like demands anything of me. And then, um, but if I but I do see that when I do check my phone, that I'm greeted to pleasant surprises and not obligations that require my immediate attention, kind of thing. Here's a single clean. Oh yeah. So I asked it to generate an image because I do have an idea of what I want, what this is in my head. But I kind of like seeing it in real life, kind of puts it in like a good view for me. And they gave me this. I told it to create the image, and it's not that inaccurate. The only real thing is that yeah, I asked to edit the image and just redid the same image twice. But um, obviously, like I do like the basis of what it has here. It's just the walls are very bare, and it feels like way too wait it intentional in a bad way. Intentional, like, hey, I'm designing the reality, that the most inoffensive reality for you, right? But obviously, you can tweak this to how you like. Like for instance, I'd probably make it so that there's like something on the walls here, right? Something to look at when I wake up. Maybe like a picture or something, or even not necessarily just a picture, some memorabilia, some like artifacts, whatever. Like, um, and then just ask to do it again, and then I'm gonna get this into a different video, but I did ask it for a wall image prompt, but I ended up putting this one first, which is I put one thing in there where it's like I say that I'm not guessing what emotion I'm gonna feel today, or don't even worry about it. And then what's going to be demanded of me is not there either by friends, parents, teachers, not teachers, but general people in my life. Except nothing is expected of me, but if I do indulge, I'm pleasantly invited, and that's sort of the framing I'm going for there. Um, and then just re-edited that thing. But I did kind of did another section. I kind of like I'm obviously I imagine someone sitting on the side of the bed with me with my visualization, so I kind of asked it to kind of like characterize the woman that was going to be there. Um, but again, that's kind of I think that'll be another video because then this is not supposed to be a direct guide on what you want, because I know a lot of people do want to manifest their SPs, but this is just sort of like show you what's possible with ChatGPT and all that. So um, yeah, like very unconventional video. This video is probably not going to be like crazy tags, crazy description, or anything. Probably just a title, maybe not even a thumbnail, but um, yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Uh, I will be doing more structured videos soon when I get the energy. I just kind of want to put something on here because this channel's been sitting here for months and I kind of wanted to use it for something. So yeah, well, that was it, guys. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you later, guys. Peace.